What do you think the big issue is in Australia that is happening that we're not talking about that we really ought to, even if we've already covered it?
Even if we've already covered it, okay. Well, leadership's a big one. I don't know if that's something...
Huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
We did a 2-hour podcast the other day on it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge.
So I won't...
Go for it. Go for it. Absolutely.
I think, you mentioned some presidents in South America before. We've got the Italian one. We've got the one who's going to come in Canada. More than likely, we've got Donald Trump, who are making some hard decisions because they're against what's been the norm for quite some time. So whenever you go against the left, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and they're going to fight back. But he's showing some leadership. Whether you like, tariffs are good, tariffs are bad, or it's going to wreck Australia, he's showing some leadership. He's getting someone in there, thinking outside the box and getting the richest guy in the world to go through the various government departments to cut waste. I think that's brilliant. I think that's great leadership. Did you want more of the same? Some people do. I'm quite excited about the change that is happening. Now, I'm not just change for change's sake. So if we think back to Kevin Rudd and John Howard, Kevin Rudd came in, it's just a change, like changing the curtains at your house. Well, yeah, okay, but no.
Yeah.
So I think leadership is certainly, like I would call Dan, some people may not agree with this, but Dan Andrews was a leader.
I would agree.
I don't agree with the things that he did. I would never follow him, but he was a leader, and many people followed him.
Yeah.
Now, you can talk about good kings, bad kings. He was certainly on the bad side, in my opinion, but he got voted back in. So what does that? That either says something about me, I'm completely off base, or it says something about the people who voted him in, or it's also what my wife says is, no, people aren't stupid, they're ignorant. And it's the education you're talking about, how to vote. This is how you would vote. This is how preferential systems work, because the majority don't understand.
Yeah,
because it's not their skill. It comes up every couple of years. It comes up with a council, state, federal election, by-election.
Yeah,
they're not interested in it. They're doing families, they're doing sports. They're running around doing things. They've got work,
and they keep changing the rules. So even if it came up in school, they've changed the rules like 5 times. Like when I learned it in school, the preferences would get allocated by the party. By the time I got to voting, they changed that, so you'd allocate it yourself. So it's constantly changing as well. I mean, I struggle to keep up. And I do, anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So I think leadership one, but I think one that's not mentioned before, and I'm not really too concerned. Well, I sort of am. I'm a Christian, so I think the values that Christians grew up with have been eroded dramatically by governments. They've been talked down. I mean, Dan Andrews closed churches but opened bottle shops, as we talked. Open Rami's brothel.
Bishop's going to kill him.
You could probably cut that. You could probably cut that one. So there's that that spiritual death that we've got.
Yeah.
And it says, I know you quoted a Bible verse before we got on air before, but it says people die for a lack of knowledge. Knowledge of God's word is what they're dying of. So, and I know I'm not here to preach today, but we're lacking that. We're not just cost of living, material pressures. Our kids at school are feeling the pressure as well. But there's another agenda that's been thrown, and it's that whole leftist agenda. I call it the die, not the DEI, the die. That wokeness that's getting put. My son's in the army. He's in the infantry. He said wokeness has gone through the army. He hates it.
Really? Right. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
He hates it.
Wow.
Hates it. And he's my size, probably slightly taller, but another 15 kilos. He's a big
unit.
Big unit.
Love to meet him.
Yeah. Well, he'd be an interesting one to speak to, actually, if you want to do a military one.
No, I'd love to, because people reach out to me all the time, especially during COVID and the jab mandates. They were being forced out.
He didn't take the jab.
He didn't take it. They kept him in.
Kept him in. He didn't take it.
Wow. I haven't been able to get anyone on
federal
camera to talk about someone in the military. I haven't been able to get anyone on camera.
That'd be exciting.
Well, no. We couldn't, but I've never been able to even get a family member to talk about it on camera out of fear of... So what was the situation with him?
He just didn't take the jab. He said not taking it. I think it came under federal workers or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they take a lot of other jabs for things. They got, your typhoid and your overseas jabs for that any time you're going to be called over.
Mm.
But he said, no, I'm not taking that. I thought, good on you. Good on you. So he doesn't like that whole wokeness that's coming through the ranks, and it's taking the strength out of certain divisions in the army. Because you want an army to be strong. You don't want them to be limp-wristed and weak, and they're guys. They're girls as well, but it's army. You've got to be strong.
Yeah, and we want our enemies to fear us and
That's right.
our allies to respect us. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we're painting our fingernails
That's
pink,
right.
and when we're twerking at the opening of a new ship for Australia, doesn't exactly instill fear into the heart of Putin,
that's right.
or Xi, old mate
That's
Xi.
right. So I think that whole wokeness, it's something that the government has put upon, but at the same time they've taken Christianity out. Christianity was removed by Dan Andrews. There's a chapter in there. I call it. It's chapter 666. That's chapter 6.
Ah, yes.
It's called Devil Dam. Every chapter starts with D.
That's right. I noticed that. As soon as I opened the...
Yeah. D for Dan, but chapter 666, Devil Dan. So, and there's another one, Despicable Dan, there. But it talks about these things that he's brought in. So, for example, 2021, Australia Day. Australia Day was closed. No marching, nothing for Australia Day.
Mm.
The next week was the Mardi Gras. He led the next week.
The next
week, he led the Mardi Gras.
I still remember that shit.
There was another one. This because I'm very much for the veterans and for defence and army up. And it happened in 2021. 2021, there was 1,400 people allowed at the Anzac Day morning dawn service. Only 1,400. 8,000 were allowed. This is at the Shrine of Remembrance. 8,000 were allowed at the 10 or 11 o'clock service. Numbers that lowest they've ever been because they were restricted. And then we had 74,000 a couple of hours later, just down the road at the MCG, watching Essendon Collingwood Anzac Day.
Was that in
Wow.
2021?
2021.
Mate, pull this up.
2021 or 2020. Yeah, okay, there's one of them there.
There he is. So
Did I say 21?
Mate, he was a cook in. You did say 20 or 21. That he was a cook in the military. Every time I say, "Oh mate, you're an Anzac warrior, you're a veteran," he said, "Mate, I was just a cook." All right, but the idea that his comrades died on the fields for our freedom, and he's just locked out of this.
And he's behind a fence.
He's behind a
Yeah,
fence.
that's not just a grid. That's a fence. just for-
Literally, it's like someone get the man a grinder,
Yeah.
and it makes me. It's like we've lost our sense of self. It just makes.
I spoke to veterans. You speak to a lot of people. The RSL sort of I like the RSL. I mean,
Yeah.
I play bagpipes there. I do all sorts of. So I'm very close. I'd speak to some of the veterans and some of their stories are in there. I've got a chapter in there called Digger, and it talks about the veterans there. It talks about this Anzac Day closure. But he did, and the mental illnesses that they already. Sorry, the mental strains that they already have now. I mean, one guy there I quoted. He said he's in his 50s, and he's got a few issues. One thing he didn't like was people wearing face masks because he said, I can't tell if they're friendly or foe type thing because they've got their face covered. Now, that could go down to other issues that he's got. I understand that, but that was a triggering point for him that people were using these useless face masks.
It's insane.
Insane. I mean, Dan Andrews spent $178 million on $178 million on face masks that could not be used. As I mentioned before, the ICU beds, this time 5 years ago, he said there was going to be 4,000 ICU beds at $1.3 billion that are not here. It's quite incredible, the